Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to another video. So I usually don't do videos like this, but this has been on my mind a lot, and I've restarted this recording probably like 15 times because I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what I'm trying to say, what is the feeling I'm getting when I'm consuming gaming content, whether that be playing the games or just scrolling on Twitter when it comes to viewing everyone's opinions on gaming right now, whether that be the Pokemon Legends EA graphics or just the Nintendo Switch, the price increase, all of those kind of things. And it really made me ask myself the question, is talking about gaming any fun anymore? Because there always seems to be sides now. You're either on one side or you're on the other, and you're the worst person if you're on one side, you're the worst person if you're on the other side. You know what I mean? And, this has always been a thing in gaming. People have always taken sides on the console that they choose, or maybe the franchise that they choose, whatever they choose. But now it seems that it's more noticeable ever since Nintendo revealed the Nintendo Switch 2's power. It used to be Nintendo was in its own corner, right? They did their own thing. Whenever you saw a third-party game or, some kind of big game come to the Nintendo Switch, you kind of expected it to have less graphical quality, so there wasn't really any question of, oh my god, this is going to look better than the PS5 and the PC and the Xbox Series X, But now we have all of these handhelds that are coming out, so now everyone's comparing the PC to Nintendo Switch 2, the ROG Ally to the Switch, and it's just, everyone gets so toxic and so angry over just the littlest things. It's gaming. It's supposed to be fun, and it seems like a lot of people just don't have fun talking about gaming as they used to because everyone's always against each other. And I kind of miss a time where people would just, look at a game, play the game, have fun talking to each other, and just have fun with gaming. You know what I mean? But now you'll jump into like people's comment sections on YouTube or even their Twitter account or just tweets that you come across, and everyone's so angry. You'll be called a shill for a gaming company. I'm sure you guys have seen those pictures with the guy defending the company with like a Wii U or something like that. And of course, there's the other side of things of like, if you do criticize any companies, sometimes you're just toxic or you're mean or something like that. And it kind of does feel like the gaming community is on fire right now, and a lot of people are choosing different sides and they're just constantly arguing, and I kind of miss the time where people would just play games and have fun, And that still exists. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but the toxicity side is definitely more noticeable than just the positivity side, and it feels like if you're positive in gaming, you kind of get called out for not being toxic. Or not toxic, I shouldn't say toxic. You kind of get called out for not criticizing people. And even if you do criticize them, then Jesus, man, if you criticize something that someone likes, they get very angry. And that's what I mean. There's always this reaction, and the reaction is always an angry reaction or a negative reaction, or sometimes they even call you some of the worst things in the book. And like I said, this has always been in gaming, but I think as someone who consumes a lot of Nintendo content and definitely does consume a lot of that on Twitter as well, I feel like it's a lot more noticeable ever since Nintendo revealed the power of the Nintendo Switch 2. Because what does that do? Then you're going to start comparing it to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X version and the PC version. And now we have these handhelds from PC and Xbox and stuff, so you're going to be comparing it to that too. So now there's just another side that everyone's picking, and it kind of takes the fun out of just talking about games, and that is kind of sad. Like, I was playing Destiny 1 yesterday because everyone was hopping on Destiny 1 for some reason. I'm like, maybe it is really good, and I booted that thing up, and there was no microtransactions popping up in my face. There was nothing bothering me. It just existed, and it kind of made me feel that nostalgia for a time where microtransactions and pop-ups and battle passes and battle royals, all of these things weren't in gaming, and it made things more simple. That was the one thing that really shocked me about Destiny 1, is that things are a lot more simple in there. And that was kind of the boiling point to actually make this video. The video about, is talking about gaming fun? Are things really toxic right now? And jumping back to the whole Nintendo Switch 2 launch and the power thing, what it was before the Nintendo Switch 2 came out, before we even knew that power was, aside from the leaks that happened, of course, was we were kind of in our own lane, right? We didn't have anything to be compared to because we all knew and expected what it was going to look like on the original Nintendo Switch. We know it was a weaker platform, and we knew that these things weren't going to run as well. That's why when we get things like the Doom games or Witcher 3, it was really crazy to see how well it ran on that Switch despite not looking as good as even the PS4 version of Witcher 3. But now with things like, when we had that demo from, I forgot which event it was, but it was the Elden Ring demo when it was running like pretty poorly. Man, there were sides attacking each other. I don't care what side you are on. You guys were fighting in those trenches. And I've seen it even in my own comment section and ever since we knew the power of the Nintendo Switch 2, a lot of people do get angry, whether I'm positive or negative. And you're kind of getting a lot of that when it comes to Pokemon Legends ZA. You know, I think Pokemon Legends ZA looks fantastic. I don't really see a problem with it. I'm actually having a lot of fun with the game, so I don't really see a problem with it. Now, let's wait a bit. I'm going to wait a bit. I'll play some elevator music. Now, if this video ends up getting a lot of comments, I guarantee you're going to see people down in the comment section calling me some pretty heinous things for saying that, or saying that I'm a company shill, because that's not true. I actually think it looks bad. I mean, the buildings look really bad. Now, I've only played about 40 minutes to an hour, so I don't have too much to say on that, but as far as I can tell, at least in the beginning, it looks pretty bad. But then when you step into the hotel, man, that hotel looks really detailed and really fantastic. But if this video even gets pushed, and even if it gets any comments, I honestly don't think it is, because my channel's small. I don't think it's going to do well, but this is just an off-the-cuff video. There's probably going to be people calling me a company shill or something like that, you know? Now, I'm not saying that, like, people who disagree with other people, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual toxic people, and it feels like there's more and more and more of those. Maybe because, they're the loudest voice in the room, so that's the one you hear. Maybe that's what's going on. But I'm seeing it from not just like the general public and people who consume this content, but even the people who make this content. I'm sure you guys have seen the people retweeting, the Pokemon Legends ZA video. It probably has like over 1 million views now, but a lot of people are saying like, oh my god, this guy's a grifter, which I mean, on my personal opinion on that, I think he probably is a grifter, but the fact that it has 1 million views, you just cannot say that there isn't anything to that. There is no way a video can hit 1 million views for a channel that small, and you cannot say that there isn't something to that. That a lot of people think that this does not look good, there isn't any issues there. Because for that much people to consume that content, and for a lot of people in the comment section from that video to agree with them, that means there is something there. So I don't think it just boils down to that guy being a grifter. Now, there are some things with that video, according to other people, that were a little off from what I understand, but that's not the point of this. My point is that there is things and problems with Pokemon Legends ZA that a lot of people are experiencing. Another thing I think a lot of people are forgetting is that most people are on the Nintendo Switch 1. They're not on the Switch 2. So while it may be fine for some people who are on the Nintendo Switch 2, the Nintendo Switch 1 probably is a whole nother monster, and they're probably running into a lot of different things. It probably does look worse than the Nintendo Switch 2. I would assume so. I'm probably going to test that on my Switch 1 and see what it looks like. But you can't even talk about this stuff without it turning into some kind of argument. I think that's kind of the key word I'm talking about. Everything turns into an argument, and I kind of miss the time where you can just talk to people about things, and it's just, there's no argument. You're just talking to someone. You're having a conversation, The stuff that's fun about talking to people about gaming. I kind of miss that. And of course, that bleeds into the nostalgia from Destiny 1, me playing it, how simple it was. And while we did have that in the Nintendo community before the Switch 2, and we saw the power of it, it was never on this level. Now, that stuff that used to be, PC, Xbox, and all that kind of stuff, that stuff is bleeding into the Nintendo community, and now it's showing up a lot and more than ever. And of course, again, like I said, nothing is perfect. Everything is not perfect. There are problems in gaming, especially the gaming industry, but I kind of miss when it was a lot more fun. Like a couple of years ago, it was kind of more fun to talk about gaming. And I think part of that is because of these companies just rinsing people dry as much as they can. I think that is also part of it. So it's not just like, oh, everyone's toxic or something. No, it doesn't boil down to that. I think it's a lot more complicated, and I think there's a lot more sides to that. I mean, even on my own comment section, I remember I had this comment that said that I'm too positive. Can you believe that? I got called out for being not too negative, too positive, and that is insane to me. That is really, I like being positive. I like, what's wrong with having fun with games? You know what I mean? It's, that's what it seems like. It seems like you get called out for having fun with games, and they even went so far as to say that I was biased. Now keep in mind, I have talked about these problems and issues pretty extensively in videos too. So to say that I'm too positive and I'm almost biased and that I don't talk about these things was just wild to me. And it's not even when you don't talk about these things, it's when you do talk about these things as well. Like, there are people on Twitter right now who criticize people talking about Legends ZA's graphics. I don't know, I kind of just miss when, you know, you just talked about games and it was just fun. Yeah, you would share your opinions on whether things look bad or good or not, but it was never like in the realm of toxicity. Usually those people got drowned out by the positivity. And it feels like negativity is pushed more than positivity now. And I just like enjoying videos, you know, or not videos. I enjoy talking about gaming, but I don't enjoy talking about the negative side of gaming because it's just not fun. I play games to have fun. I don't play them to be, you know, angry at something, unless I'm playing, you know, Overwatch and my team. If you play Overwatch or you play Marvel Rivals, you know exactly what I mean. You know, let me know in the comment section if you guys kind of feel this. Do you think, like, the toxicity from people, you know, people always being angry, you're always seeing this stuff happening. Are you kind of getting sick of it like I am too? I don't know. I enjoy being very happy and positive and having fun with gaming. I don't like to be negative. It kind of drains my energy a lot. And whenever I go on Twitter, I see all this stuff. I see everyone just fighting. I'm like, I'm kind of just sick of it. I want to have fun, you know what I mean? So let me know if you guys have been feeling that, like this past year, especially since the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. If anyone even leaves a comment on this video. Usually my videos don't get a lot of comments, but if you are feeling that and you do agree with me or disagree with me, maybe you don't think this, leave those hype points, because apparently I guess hype points do better than likes now. But still leave a like if you enjoyed the video as well, and of course dislike if not. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.